Fred Whitehurst was America's first successful FBI whistleblower. When I first met Fred in 1993, he was the FBI's leading expert in explosives. He testified in many high-profile bombing cases and terrorism cases in the 1980s and 90s. And when he came to our office and he met with Steve and I, he wanted to blow the whistle. And at the time, there was no book, there was no manual that you could read on how to blow the whistle at the FBI. The Justice Department had refused to implement the Whistleblower Protection Act for FBI employees, and there was no whistleblower office, there was no board, there was no court where you could go to file a whistleblower complaint. So what did Fred do? He was understandably outraged over the lab's contamination of evidence and its failure to follow scientific protocols. But what he also had to say was something more serious, that there was a culture of prosecutorial bias at the FBI lab, along with slanting scientific reports to favor the prosecution at the expense of the truth. Fred observed mounting pressure on FBI lab scientists to mislead courts and juries in criminal cases. And when Fred blew the whistle at the FBI, he had two very simple questions. One, why did the FBI prevent its scientists and examiners from telling the truth in court? And who got hurt from this wrongdoing? To fast forward to many years, Fred successfully resolved his case. And I think it's important that we, on National Whistleblower Appreciation Day, say that it's not enough to simply celebrate past achievements and gains that have been made when so much more needs to be done. And we also need to recognize, as others have already said, that whistleblowing comes at the expense of great personal sacrifice. And in Fred's case, both he and his wife, Cheryl, sacrificed their FBI careers as a result of bringing these issues forward, and these events changed their lives forever. But we should also be grateful for what Fred Whitehurst has done in the 17 years since he left the FBI. He did not accept the official version that nobody was hurt from the lab misconduct and nobody was falsely imprisoned or wrongfully convicted as a result of that. When the Justice Department said that nobody's case was affected and no cases were overturned, that did not convince Fred Whitehurst, and it didn't satisfy him. Armed with the Freedom of Information Act, he obtained tens of thousands of pages of documents from the Justice Department, poured through them, and discovered a very startling fact, that not only were there problems in these cases, but that the Justice Department had failed to notify the defendants that any problems existed.